live from the Hellmouth adjacent. It's the Popular Cinema Podcast. I'm your co-host Payne,
And I'm Bill.
and Happy New Year, and welcome to episode 79.
That theme song is going to be the song that's going to be playing when I march my way back into work next Monday, by the way.
You're gonna be doing some sort of Vince McMahon walk as you stroll back in there. Is that
I'm going to have a little bit, just a smidge of an attitude.
by Thor's hammer? You bitches will pay attention and leave me alone and respect my space.
Bring me Thanos! Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. That's all I can say.
Oh, well, you know what? That's a good way to roll back into work. I like that. Maybe I might play that theme song too as
I
I'm
need you to
strolling
send that
through.
to me so I can put it in an MP3 file and put it on my phone. Because I'll just put my headphones in and I'll just be marching on in with that playing.
So it's 2019, Bill. We made it another year. There's no atomic bombs dropping. Everybody's still alive. You
Well,
know,
let's see if we can make it through another 12 months.
another 12 months.
Did you celebrate the New Year last night? Did you stay up till midnight and toast with some champagne?
I
And
went out with my girl, with super fan Melissa and her husband for
oh,
a dinner,
nice.
and yeah, I think Carlos, superfan Carlos, was supposed to also maybe attend, but he decided to be a good father and stay in with his children.
Well, that's nice. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you know,
He is
um,
having some regrets by putting two Xboxes. He has multiple televisions,
sure.
and he has Xbox on each one, which only means now he's starting to play Fortnite with his son.
Oh,
So
that's great. Good for him. At
yeah.
least he's not playing Grand Theft Auto 5 like my nephew, or actually my cousin, who's 8,
Yeah, which
by
is
the
by
way.
the yes, we talked about this. Grand Theft Auto is not for anybody under the age of 10,
Oh
unless
well.
you.
You know what it is? It's like a virtual reality preview of the rest of his life. So
Oh, don't say that. That's just so terrible. I mean,
I'm just saying.
we won't talk about family business. We
Okay.
won't talk about family. Because I make decisions as an uncle. I wouldn't let my child play Grand Theft Auto, but I can tell you, I push the envelope when putting a movie in for one of my nephews. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, like how
Grand
far
Theft
do you
Auto
push
is
the envelope?
clear when you're shooting somebody up and you're like running hookers over in cars, all sorts of things you can
Can
do in
you
Grand
have
Theft.
virtual sex with these hookers in this game, or you just kill them?
No, you can.
You can have sex with them.
Yeah, and certain ones like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I think if you stop like the coffee shop or something else like that, you can go in the back seat. You don't actually see it, but you just see the car like humping up and down type of thing.
So
So
how do you engage in this activity? Is there like a sex button? Press X.
yeah, it's something like that.
Really?
Yeah, you
That's just
figure
a
it
thing.
out. You figure it
Okay.
out, but it's not. It's just something when you do, you're just trying to be like deviant. You're like, let's just see if I can do this. You're like, ooh, I can't. But some of the
Well,
storylines are very mature. Like, go make the porn director sign a contract.
really?
It's mature audience.
Okay.
Obviously, I wouldn't let my kid play those games. But now, if you told me about watching a R-rated movie, depending on the R-rated movie, I would probably, I could push that envelope a little bit.
I mean, I watched Dress to Kill when I was his age. I don't
Right,
know that it necessarily warped
right.
my brain for
So
life.
I don't want to judge too harshly. I guess it depends on the medium and the product sometimes.
I don't know. I watched some of the gameplay when he got his game for Christmas,
And you're clutching the
and
pearls.
he was shooting some guy like multiple times until the body like rolled into the river, and then he kept shooting it as it was floating down the river. And I was like, Thomas, I think he's dead. And he just kept shooting him, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to go. I think it's time. So anyway, and how was your holiday? Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, everything was fine. Everything is good. I think obviously this is the end of all type of getting together with people. So I
For the
think that
season? I don't assume that doesn't mean for the rest of your life.
no, 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 but for the season, like it's all done.
Right.
So now maybe we can get back to having some sort of like maybe um one-on-one. I think I'm at the level of like I kind of like the smaller events. Like it was nice having dinner with Superfan Melissa and her husband. I think
Sure.
those things are, pretty cool. And um but I think, it's exhausting as being an introvert, as you know I am, Bill. It's exhausting, dealing with multiple people over a short time frame.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, yeah, you were going from one place. Not only that, you're on the road. You're traveling on
Yeah,
the road from
not
place to
it's
place to
not my
place.
favorite activity. Um, so wait, for the dinner last night or after dinner last night, did you guys stay up and toast a new year, or were you in bed by like 11?
Oh no, we're in bed by 11 o'clock.
Oh, we were in
Uh,
bed by 10. So we beat ya. Haha. We
oh,
watched the finale of Titans, which we'll get to later,
okay.
and we had a marathon of RuPaul Drag Race All Stars. Then we had some champagne. We each had a glass, which promptly gave me a headache, and I just threw the rest of the bottle out and went to bed at like 10.
I'm done. Yeah, I just, I don't know. I feel like this is that a young person's game? It's like a new couple young person's game. You know,
I don't know.
midnight.
Part of me feels tragic about it because I feel like I'm like 48 and I can't stay up till like midnight to watch the ball drop. But the other part of me feels like I'm just not interested. Like I've
Yeah,
seen it. I
yeah.
don't
Okay.
care, and I don't want to watch the banal discussion between Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't. That just like really worked my last nerve in about 5 minutes.
I,
So
when
and
we got
then
into bed, Chris was going like this. Do you want me to turn on a New Year's Eve show? I go, no, not in particular. But I go, if you want to put it on, that's fine. And she goes, okay. So we ended up putting on some sort of Dateline murder investigation stuff.
I made the mistake of flipping through the channels last night to try as my on my way into bed, and we stopped by Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh yeah.
I can not with this show. I just can't.
Was she squeezing out some sort of cottage cheese out of somebody's pimple?
It was like she was doing like a slice with a scalpel thing, and like the skin popped, and it just all came flowing out like a river.
Oh.
Oh, a river of pus. I was like, I mean, I only stopped on it for like 2 seconds, and my finger could not press the channel button fast enough. I don't know how you guys watch that show. I just, oh my god, I just can't do it. I can't.
Well, I think I watch it curled up in a ball. I mean, I think that's how I
With your
watch.
hand over your face and one eye closed, and you're like,
Right.
just
Yeah.
take a peek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh my god. If I was eating something, I would throw right the fuck up. Can you imagine what that shit must smell like?
No, no, I can't.
And
That,
I
but
don't.
so what are you gonna do for 2019 that you didn't do for 2018? You starting off right? Did you start? Are you starting the day off right? Something new? Whatever
Well,
else?
I mean, I don't know. Yesterday, I slept on my left ass cheek in the middle of the day. So today, I tried the right one for the first time on my break. So that was different.
Okay. I started doing yoga this morning.
Really? Do
I
you
did.
like make sounds like om, bong,
No,
bong?
I don't do that. I did 10 minutes of yoga, of stretching.
Right.
It was from a YouTube video, 10 minutes. I think that might be my sweet spot, 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
So, no,
And did you feel better when you were done?
I did. I did. But part of it is I can't do whatever. If there's 10 exercises, I can't do nine and a half of them. That's
Why?
pretty much it. I
Is it
can't
because
have
you're
my
too
legs
stiff?
spread. It's stiff. I've got longer limbs, I think, or maybe that doesn't make a difference. But
I'm
either
pretty sure
way,
that doesn't matter.
I can't sit in all the positions. So,
Well,
uh,
you're just starting out. Maybe eventually, if you keep it up, then you'll get limberer and limberer, and
yeah,
then
yeah. So that's my goal. My goal in 2019 is to try to do a little bit more yoga.
you know what? Are you going to do it like every day as a morning part of your routine,
I
like when
think
before you
so.
go to
I
the
think
gym?
I pulled up the YouTube video. If I can do 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes is good, and
Okay.
I can't be doing like
Well, how
30
long
minutes.
do normal yoga classes go?
I'm not sure. I think it might be 30 minutes, maybe.
Well, maybe you could work your way up. Like start with 10 and then
I don't know
every
if I
week add
want
a
to.
minute.
No, I don't know if I want to do all that now. So
Okay.
I think 10 minutes is.
Okay. That's like your cardio. Do you do 10 minutes? Yep. How long you been doing 10 minutes? About 2 years. Well, you could maybe add a minute here and there. Nah, not interested. Okay.
I've been jogging a mile, and so what I did is I said, you know what, I'm going to go a little bit further. So when the on the treadmill it said 1.05, I was like, well, that's more than 1 mile, so fuck it. There you go.
Well, hey, that counts, right? If it's over, it's over.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm glad to have the day off on a Tuesday. It's very
Yeah, but then that
exciting.
makes going back on a Wednesday rough, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to try to go in with an attitude. That's that soundtrack that you just
Play the
had before.
play the yeah, play the theme song. See what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. I'm gonna go back in there and hopefully, I'm gonna set myself up for success. I'm gonna do a little couple small things, and then be like, "Wow, I crushed those small things," and then work my way up.
I put this file on top of that file instead of that file on top of this file. I am really crushing it. 2019 is mine. Got it.
Uh, you know the plan. You know the plan.
You know,
All right, we've got a lot of stuff here, Bill. A lot of stuff.
I didn't know there
So
was that
maybe
much
we should
happening,
just
but
go through it very quickly here, because as you said before, you have some time off and you don't want to be up here on a long day. You want to enjoy the rest of your day, essentially.
yeah, I'm still watching Rogue One because every time I get like 10 minutes into it, I'm
You
so
fall asleep.
comfortable. I'm just like this. So this movie is so good, so good. Oh, what happened to Jen? Oh, rewind. Chris just comes in his room, looks at me, shakes his head, and walks out. So,
So there's a lot of Netflix news here. So there's this show called Bird Box. It's with Sandra Bullock.
right, right.
Apparently it shattered all sorts of records, Bill. In its first 7 days, Netflix revealed that 45 million different accounts viewed Bird Box.
So
And
why is it so popular?
well, I think it's because my opinion um, is that it's like having easy access to something that seems kind of cool.
Yeah, but just because it's easy access doesn't necessarily mean people will watch it. Like there must be something drawing people to it other than the fact that it's just there, right?
No, I feel like this Bird Box is like Bright. You take these well-known actors and you put them in a vehicle, and something that looks like it has the air of, well, look, that could be played at a theater, but it's not played at a theater. It's played on my Netflix that I paid $10 a month for, and I can fire it up immediately. And you're kind of like, it's a no risk. It's no risk for you to try it out. Um, you know,
So it's a combination of first run, Netflix dropping it, Sandra Bullock,
yeah,
A-list star.
yes. Imagine
Uh,
imagine if The Incredibles 2 was released on Netflix
yeah,
instead
I
of
hardly think Bird Box is The Incredibles too, but okay.
yeah, okay. Well, I'm just saying.
Right, I could. You're making an example. I understand.
So I put it straight into my queue because I'm just like, oh wow, Sandra Bullock. There's some monsters. Looks like it's an original story. Why would I not give it a shot or put it in my queue?
Well, I mean, I've only read Twitter reviews of it, because they come
Oh,
to me.
oh, we're not going to talk about necessarily the quality of the film, but go ahead. What about your
Well,
Twitter reviews?
I've heard it's really not all that great. Did you watch it?
I did watch it,
Did you
and
think it was all
I'll
that great?
probably watch it again with my woman later on. But what do I think of it?
Why do you think that she would be interested in that? Like, what is about it that movie that you think would appeal to her?
I think she might have saw a trailer, and I
Oh,
think her
okay.
daughter somehow piqued her interest about it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
um,
Well, I heard it's not in the least bit scary. Is that true?
no, it's not scary, but it's designed to be, I think, suspenseful. Um, end of the world drama. Is there something else out there? all sorts of things. But like with some of these Netflix shows, these originals that they do, there's a lot of like, um, what do you call it? There's a lot going on for the beginning and the middle of the movie, but then it always ends with like a whimper. It ends up going nowhere. It's almost like watching you wake up on Monday morning and hang with you for the rest of the day. And you're kind of
Mhm.
like, well, this is something's going to happen at the end of this day, right? I'm with Bill. He's going on this adventure. He's going to work. He's going to Kroger's. There's going to be something that the alien's going to come down, and at the end, you're just like, Bill goes to bed, and you're like, so I watched this whole movie, and this is how it ends. There's no big bang, big explosions, monster fight. Nope, that's how it ends. Just the whimper.
Have you ever seen a Netflix original, maybe Bright, in which the standard effects or the FX or the visual spectacle, really impressed you?
No, because this is one of those shows where once again you add Sandra Bullock and that guy from, I believe, from Moonlight, and all you do is there's no monster. Spoiler, I'm sorry for the people out there. I'm giving spoilers here. There's no monster. All it is just like the people looking around, and they make the noises, and there's a wind, and you're like, well, something's there because I see the leaves moving. Yeah, there's no special effects.
That's what I'm saying.
No
I
special
need
effects.
I need
No,
more.
it probably I don't know how much it costs. Maybe it costs more to pay Sandra Bullock, but let's just say you remove the actors, it's like an $8 million film. It's just kids walking around blindfolded. Very cheap.
See, I think Netflix does a lot of bait and switching. Like they're like Netflix original, you know, great time at the Netflix box, whatever. And then you get in there and then it's like an art house movie.
Yeah.
And it feels like they promise you something, but they don't really deliver on it. They deliver you with quantity, but not necessarily quality.
Right. I think part of it is when we start talking about like those Marvel Netflix shows,
Mhm,
Daredevil and the rest of them, and we kind of talked about how they're slow
mhm.
and they meander a little bit. I find it to be that way. Like there's a lot of something going on, like, oh, this could be really good. And then the longer you stick with it, it kind of just ends or just slowly just kind of goes down this path and then goes nowhere. At least for me. You're
Which is
just
why
like,
they are what? Canceled.
so Bird Box had a lot of cool things, but with most of these movies here, you have to stick the landing. But I think the point I'm making with this, I believe, is that I didn't have to leave my house and go spend $12 and then get mad about it. Because all
But
I
it's
am
still your
is I
time
pull it up
though.
on a Friday night and you go like this, well, what do you want to watch? Well, I didn't go to Redbox, and you're just like, well, there's this thing called Bird Box and here's the trailer. And I'm like, ooh, that looks original. Well, let's just fire it up on the queue. And there you
Right.
go.
But then at the end of it, when there's nothing really that sticks with you, don't you get mad that you wasted your time? Maybe not as mad that you wasted your time plus your money, but that you could have been spending time watching something with better quality. Doesn't that make you mad?
Nope, not at all, because there's not much out there. Because if it was, you would have put that up first then if that was the case.
Okay.
So
See,
now,
my time to me is as valuable as my money. So then we'll get into this discussion later, but I can tell you right now, Titan season 2 for me is looking mighty dim.
I've got it on the list. I've got it on the
That's all
list.
I can say.
But
And
get
it's
ready
not
to.
because it's hard for me to get out there and go watch it because it's right in my living room, but it's that after the end of the episode, I'm like, and in the middle of the episode, I'm like, oh, is this over yet? It's not over yet.
For the 45 million people, Netflix counts a view as being somebody who's watched at least 70% of the film's runtime, which can include up to credits. So if Bird Box is 124 minutes long, that means at least 45 million different accounts watched at least 87 minutes of the film. That's how they're measuring their views.
Or 45% or whatever of the counts turned it on and went into the kitchen to cook dinner. or that.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Uh, that's a lot of people, Bill. It's a lot of
Sure,
people. Just,
sure.
I mean, they're very proud of that. That's I'm sure that's why
Yes,
they.
but all it really says though is that Americans are creatures of convenience, and that they will
There
put
you
on
go.
anything as long as it's in their living room to watch. Now,
There, there you go. Creatures of convenience. I believe
sure,
that's exactly what you have there. If they
yeah,
put out this stuff, and things that could look like they could be released in the theater. I'm not saying Bird Box necessarily should have been released in a theater, but it has all the things of an actress. It's got some suspense, it's action. It's not a documentary. Um, well, whatever. By the way, Netflix also released its most binged watched TV shows of 2018.
mhm.
Have you heard of number one On My Block?
No.
It's like a teenage drama. I pulled up the trailer and I was thinking about giving it a shot, but it involves like a diverse cast, but they're out in California, but never heard of it before. I feel like that's some sort of adolescent thing going on there.
Is
Number
it a
two,
Netflix original or is it a show that they bought from like Canada or something?
not sure, not
Okay,
sure. Number two, Making a Murderer, part two. And I
a
guess this is one
documentary.
of those things like, well, it's the most binge watch. So apparently these people are
Watching
devouring
the
a
whole
lot of,
thing, right?
yeah, like on one thing. 13 Reasons Why. I think that's about suicide, right?
Yeah, teen suicide drama.
Yeah, never watched it. Not interested. Season two, something called Last Chance U, indie. Chris and I watched that. Um,
Is that a documentary?
it follows some kids in college. They get kicked out of big football programs, and then they get banished to some sort of secondary programs, and you're just watching their journey.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. Number five, Bodyguard. Number six, Fastest Car. Number seven, The Haunting of Hill House. Eight, Anne with an E. Number nine, Insatiable. And number 10, Orange is the New Black, season six. Um, are you ever binge watching anything now? Are you
None of
into binge
that.
watching? What's that?
None of any of that. We don't really, we don't really binge watch. So we're still like halfway through Daredevil and Iron Fist, and to be honest with you, I'm not in any particular hurry to finish them. So
Okay.
we
Uh,
will, but it might take us a while, which is good because we don't have to worry about another season coming. So we can take all the time we want.
oh, you got that right. I guess that's the end. It's vintage now. Um, my last bit of Netflix news here is: have you heard of the release of Black Mirror Bandersnatch?
I have.
Apparently, Bandersnatch is a science fiction, I guess, show, movie, film, and it allows viewers to make decisions for a main character. And in this story, there's this young programmer who adapts a fantasy novel into a video game in 1984. Anyway, I guess the whole point of this whole thing is it's like choose your own adventure, Bill. So you can make choices like, do you want to cook the rabbit or do you want to set the rabbit free? And then you create your own story and ending.
I don't understand how the physics of this actually works. Have you tried doing this? Like,
I I actually did yesterday.
and is there like a thing that comes up on the screen that says press up for cooking the rabbit or press down for
Yeah,
letting the rabbit free?
yeah. It's like little two boxes, left or right, and you just kind of click like press the X button to execute or left or right, whatever it is on your
Hmm.
device, which was my Fire Stick.
Hmm.
Um, and I think I probably watched some of it on my tablet just to try it out as well. And then you select a choice, and then it continues forth.
Okay.
I So let me here you go. The average viewing time is 90 minutes, though the quickest path ends after 40 minutes, and at least one path will result in a 2.5 hour viewing experience. There are 150 minutes of unique footage divided into 250 segments, and that there are five main endings with variants within each ending. How do
That's too
you
much work for me to put in when I'm watching a movie. I just want to watch a damn movie. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to play a video game, I'd play a video game.
I I understand and I agree with you. I think as I we talked about this a few days ago, I think I applaud the what did you say, the innovativeness of it and pushing the
Sure.
envelope. I think for me at my age now, I don't want to choose your own adventure. I remember reading a choose your own adventure book back when I was like 12.
What was that cartoon video game? It was like a knight, and you could like press a button.
Oh, are you talking Dragon's Lair?
Dragon's Lair. Yeah, it sort of reminds me of that too.
Um, I just don't. I don't have time for it. I actually want the director, for me, to just tell me the story and give me the ending. I don't want to pick a choice of whether or not to kill the burglar or tie the burglar up. I
See,
just
as a
don't.
video gamer, though, as somebody who enjoys that kind of entertainment, I would think that that would be more appealing to you because you know how you're always like, oh, it's just an American standard ending. The Americans always ending on a happy note. So now you can choose to like have all the characters have their heads chopped off, which is the more kind of ending that you would like.
That's you know, I think when I criticize the American endings, it's because I feel as though there's some other people in there telling them, listen, the Americans want a happy ending. Okay, if the director wants to put a happy ending on there and that's his choice, then I'm fine. But if I feel like there's some sort of like pressure, like they're trying to just make it like nobody wants to go home this way, so let's just kind of do it, that upsets me. I want the director's true vision. I want that David Lynch, unadulterated. Give me what you want,
Be
and then
careful
I'll
what you
make,
wish for. You see how that turned out.
and
Sometimes you
then I'll,
could give these people too much freedom.
yes, yes. But that's what I want. That's what I want, and I think that turns me
So,
off.
oh, okay. So let me ask you this in this example. If Showtime would have told David Lynch, I'm sorry, this shit is just too far out there in the ether. We cannot have you have this shit the way it is presented on our network. We're going to need to have you make it more like season one, where there's some kind of linear storyline that fucking people can follow. Would you have preferred for David Lynch to release? Let's say you have like the David Lynch Twin Peaks, Black Mirror, Balderdash, whatever show, and they say choose David Lynch's original path of this script, or go with Showtime's revised version so that people can understand what the fuck's happening. Which one would you pick?
Well, knowing what I know now, I'm going the Showtime path, of course, because it was horrible. But
Right.
at the beginning, without knowing anything, I would have taken the director's vision. I would have.
Well, that would have been a fat old big giant waste of time, but okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's I live or die with the creator. I'm willing to go that route. Obviously, sometimes they do need to be reined in, as we recently found out they do. But part of it is I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But this certainly is going to a level where I just don't want to be involved in. I really just want to pop in a movie, and I don't want to be sitting on my couch and then all of a sudden I think pauses and says, "Do you want to drink the coffee or don't drink the coffee?" And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Can we just move on? Whatever. I just give me the damn thing. And once I get to the ending, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna want to play this again and be like, oh, let me go through again and let me just see if instead of cooking the rabbit, I'll set it
What
free and
happened?
see what
Right.
happens. Yeah, this
It's
shit.
interesting, but it isn't it. I mean, it's not necessarily for me either, but it is an interesting and a fresh take and a unique take on entertainment in which I think might prove, popular at some point in the future where people can customize their own kind of
You,
story and then they can go back and see like the multiple endings. I mean, it's built for like
how
Netflix, I think.
about this? How about I do the? How about you give me the Phantom Menace? Okay.
Do you want to watch the Jar Jar or the Jar Jar free version?
And when
Gotcha.
it comes out, and if I don't like it, then I want you to make it choose your own adventure, Phantom Menace style. And then one of the options at the beginning would be like, Jar Jar is going to go on this adventure, or you can choke Jar Jar out. I'm like, choke Jar Jar out.
Wow. Wow.
and then you see them killed, then we continue on with the story. I'd be like, these are all options I would choose there at the end, but
Right.
that's fine. So, Bill, there was some other news that came out. Apparently, there was a record 495 scripted original series made in 2018. 495. That is
Total of all
apparently
networks or just Netflix?
all networks.
Okay.
495 scripted original series. Apparently, there was an increase of 85% since 2011.
Really?
Um, apparently, in 2017, the grand peak was 487. So 2018 was now 495. And apparently, for the first time this last year, um, the number of shows made by streaming companies, 160, was higher than the number of shows made by either broadcast, 146, or basic cable, 144. So apparently, the streaming companies are making a lot more original content than broadcast or basic cable.
Yeah, because people like it, and that's probably where they're getting all their stuff from.
So everything is becoming more original series now, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more places to find them. So,
You a fan of that? Have you noticed that?
I've noticed that there are more like DC universes and stuff like that popping up that have original content that I might be interested in. So, yeah, I've noticed a little bit. I mean, Netflix is just it's a huge enterprise though. And that's probably a bottomless pit that you could probably go into and never leave your living room, I imagine, because there's so much content in there.
Oh, I'm so
Which just really, really gets to you. I know. Why don't you just buy a Netflix t-shirt? Just wear like Netflix or us. um, so yeah, I mean, I think in general it's cool because anytime there's more competition in an environment, then it creates more possibilities for better and more frequent content. Yeah. I
Never.
myself have not found that much that appeals directly to me though. Out of all the stuff that's out there, I probably watch maybe 2 or 3%. Maybe one or
Okay.
2%.
That reminds me, Bill. My brother-in-law was in the house and
Yeah.
he saw my Netflix DVDs and he
What do you mean
goes,
your
"What is
Netflix
this?"
DVDs?
What's that?
You said he saw your Netflix DVDs.
Yeah,
Oh, right, from the mail. Okay.
from the mail. The mail and subscription. He saw the disc and the mailers, and
Right.
I had a couple movies out, and he goes, "What is this?" I go, "Those are my Netflix DVDs," and he looked at me as if it was some sort of like VCR, you know. And I didn't understand. Like, am I missing something? Like, don't people? My
Millennial.
Netflix subscription costs me an extra like I don't know, $20 a month, which gives me access to 4 movies at any one time on disc. $20. So if I order 4 movies this week and watch them all and send them back, I'll have another 4 next week. I can potentially watch 16 to 20 movies a month
You're
for
just
20
such a
bucks.
you're a content whore. They cannot give you enough content. You have so much, and yet you still want more. You're just like more jizz. I want more jizz.
Unlimited. So like
Unlimited entertainment possibilities.
so
Oh,
let
I
me
mean, you've
let me
got streaming networks in your house. You've got like 5 of those. Then there's not enough on that. You get DVDs sent to your home from Netflix. There's not enough of that. What is
yeah.
it? What would make you happy? Is it like if you could have like 8 discs in your house at once, would that make you happy?
I don't know. The time. Instead of 24 hours a day, maybe I need 36 hours in a day. How about that? I
The
can
thing about
re-
it is, you don't mind when you watch something and it feels like it wasn't good for you because it's content consumption that you're after. You're like the black hole of entertainment consumption. Like you can never get enough. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You just want more. That's fine. It's just a totally different outlook than mine.
I was sitting on the couch earlier today, and I had the Predator on in the background,
Right.
with Sterling Brown and a whole bunch of other actors in there. And the movie is probably one of the worst movies I've watched of 2018
Right.
by far. And I knew this within, I think I told you, the first 10 minutes. And then I got in the first 30 minutes and I confirmed to myself, like, this is just absolutely horrible. I don't know where any of this going. I don't care. These characters suck all around. And Chris's daughter was just kind of like, well, she goes, are you watching it? Why you seem to be playing on the computer? I go, yeah, I am. I go, it's terrible. And of course, the reaction is, well, why don't you turn it off? I'm like,
Or
well,
yeah.
it may stick the landing. There may be an after credit scene. I just can't. I just
I,
can't.
I
Gonna let it play out.
I
Let it play
get
out.
it, but like if but you have started to like fast forward through things and pull things out of the machine if they're
The only
totally
reason why I didn't
exaggerated.
fast forward to it is because the remote control, the fast forward, was like 7 feet away from me, and I just didn't feel like getting up, so I just
That's
let it
just so
play.
ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. So rather than save like an hour and a half of your time, you'll just let it play in the background because you're too lazy to get up and get the remote.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that
That's
being said,
crazy.
though, what am I supposed to? What's the problem with me getting DVDs in the house? Because
Oh, that's
you
not a
can't
problem.
answer because if a movie comes out like at Redbox, let's just say The Equalizer 2, Denzel, and I can go get it for a buck 99 and have the disc in my house and watch the movie. I can pay for my subscription to get the disc. But if I want to do some sort of instant streaming, it seems to cost me $6 to $10. Am I wrong on this?
Of the movie that you could get at Redbox that you can't just get on Netflix streaming with your
Yeah,
subscription.
right.
Um, well, I don't know. Does Redbox really cost $6 to $10?
Well, no, Redbox costs like a buck 99.
Right. So what are you talking about? It would cost you six to
Well,
ten
I
dollars
guess I don't know why. Why is he looking at me strangely that I get the Netflix DVD queues? Because it seems like that's a
because
good
DVDs
finance.
are relics. That's why. Why don't you just get VHS tapes? Why don't you call them up and ask if they have VHS?
So what am I supposed to do with all my movies? I'm supposed to just pay full price for them when they get released, when they open up on the streaming network like Vudu or Google Play or Amazon.
Well, no. For me, what you could do is stop it with the DVDs already and get the Blu-rays. Because come on, wherein you have the capability. It's like your car is a Ferrari, but you're putting like cake frosting in the gas tank.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you understand that weird ass analogy?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
do.
You
So
have the
fine.
equipment
So
that's
fine.
capable.
I'll upgrade for an extra $2 or $3 and start getting the Blu-rays. Got
Okay.
it. Check.
There. Then you won't get any looks from me. But from the kids, you're probably going to get looks because discs and physical media is a thing of the past for them.
But you
And it's
can't
an
watch
antique.
all the stuff you want to watch because it's going to cost you $6 to watch it when you want to watch it each time.
I know. I just think that they think, well, you can just wait until it comes on to your streaming network but I understand that you don't want to do that. And that's really the only way you can get the movie at a price that you don't necessarily want to pay extra for, full price, which I completely understand it, but I just think that whole disc idea is just beyond them.
Okay. We're going to move on. This is a shout out to Superfan Melissa.
Wait a minute.
Um,
You got to pause. You're not going to believe this.
what?
You're cutting out. Like,
Is it still doing it?
yes.
Okay. I'll call you back.